They're finally wrapping this project up, and it's time to kind of show you what I did. So I this is going to be, I love to cook, and having one cooktop, where is it? It's right over here. I've still got it. I guess it's going to go into storage. But yeah, so it's just having one cooktop for almost 5 years, because it just was too much of a pain to use that propane. But I wanted to have both, so here it is right there. That is definitely going to be a game changer. There we go. Let's see if we can get that. There we go. Oh my gosh, I can't even tell you. And still have the electric over here if I want to cook with electric for whatever reason. But one of the special things was, and if you've been following along, I had to clear out my storage, which included my grandfather's / my father's desk, that I had adopted, or I had taken for many years, and used that as my desk as well. And where the old stove was, let's see if I can turn the camera. So where the old stove was right down here, and replace that with a drawer. So now I got all of those utensils. This is now the biggest drawer in the kitchen. Self-closing hinges. It's kind of nice. I am really loving this. But what's special about this, and let me see if I can get this drawer out, and I'll show you. Hold on, guys, because it does take two hands to get the drawer out. This is the drawer. I had to throw my grandfather's desk away. It had become too old, and it was too big, and the kids didn't want it, and I really couldn't store it anymore. There is the front face of my grandfather's drawer right there. Not sure if you can see that or not. So, and inside, all of the wood except for the front face was from my grandfather's top desk drawer, including, you can see the little lock over there. And I've just put some paper down to kind of protect it. Here's some shelving paper, but you can see just normal things you would expect for a desk. Over in one of these corners is a date stamp. You can tell my grandfather was trying to get his date stamper working, and the date, it is hard to make out, but it's November of something of 1949. So I can't tell you how thrilled I am to be able to incorporate that into this project. And it wasn't planned, but it just kind of turned out that way, that I built the drawer and got this done on Father's Day. So that was pretty fitting. So there you go, guys. Game changer. Now I have electric, I have gas, and I get utensils off of the top of the counter. Oh, this is just fantastic. I absolutely love it. So I think this is going to wrap this video up. I've got to go up and work on solar. And yeah, it's that's a project too. So I'll try to keep you informed on that. But I am going to get out of here for now. We will see you guys next time. Live life full time. We'll see you guys on down the road. Take care, guys. Bye bye.
Somebody lead us to somewhere. Somebody lead us to somewhere. We're stuck here and we're never gonna leave. Stuck in the middle of nowhere.
All right, what is going on, you guys? Welcome to Happy Hour Live. A little technical difficulty. It is. I'm on the new computer. My old computer, I don't know if it's given up the ghost or what, but I did not have the files. I did not have everything that I usually do to create the thumbnails to put up the post, and it literally got to within 15-20 minutes of the live. It's like I've just got to post. So I apologize to you out there because I still have not gotten this darn computer set up, and I'm working on it. I'm trying to get there, and this week just kind of proves I need to do better with that. This is the lovely Sundance Meadows. Let's see if we can get a little bit of the lake there. I got a big tree right here. I am hiding behind that tree because the wind and the rain kind of kicked up just literally about 10-15 minutes ago, and we weren't supposed to have rain. We were supposed to have clear skies. It has been hot. They did predict it was going to be about 94 degrees today, and so yeah, I'm wearing a sweaty t-shirt and nothing but the best. So glad to have you in the house. Let me go back and see. I saw that Cowboy Don Biker Adventures. Let's see here. Let's throw that up there. He got first in the house. Cosmic Mermaid and Starman. Let's move on down the road. Matthew Renaud, glad to have you here. Oh my gosh. Just scroll down here. WCRV Adventures. Hello, guys. Matthew Renaud, glad to have you here. Oh, RV living life. That is Mr. Gary. He is evil. If you follow, he sent me an Instagram the other day, and you know what? I'm this close to banning Gary, and yeah, he's not going to be allowed anymore. So he's suggesting things that people should not do, and no, Gary, no. I have my limits. HC Carefree Highway is in the house. Glad to have you here. Oh my gosh. Miss Pearl is in the house. Bead Trapper is in the house. Miss Pearl says, good luck with the solar, Dave. Yeah, I have. That has been this week. I didn't finish up the drawer and I didn't finish up the countertops. I ran into a little technical problem I had to figure out, and it took me a few days and a little bit of thinking. I got it all done. Hopefully you guys like that. Last week, I tried to give you what I was attempting to do, and I was unable to show any pictures, unfortunately, and I apologize. That was kind of a tease, and that wasn't fair. But oh my gosh, I absolutely love it. Have been using it for this week, and oh, WC, they like the cowboy hat. Do you guys like the cowboy hat? I'm gonna get to use it officially here coming up July 4th weekend, and I'm heading back out to Burns. I'm actually going a little bit early. Miss Bonnie, the person that you guys haven't yet met yet, because I have not been able to kick out any videos on that. She has a mother that's ill, and I wish her the best. And I told her that, you know what, I will come out and support you. And so tomorrow I am leaving here. I'm going to head out to Burns, Oregon. So who knows where next week's video is going to be, but she does have a rodeo that is planned for July 4th weekend. I'm gonna, if that still goes on, when a family member is ill, you don't know how things are going to play out. But I my prayers are with her, and we're going to go and I'm probably going to be hanging out in a driveway for literally, she does have a ranch, and I'll get to see the horses. So maybe I'll see if I can do a video, a one take video or something, and show you where rodeo horses live, that they, when you're not seeing them at the rodeo, it is what they call rough stock, and that is one of her businesses, is rough stock for rodeos. So I guess she has gotten lots of awards and everything else for these horses, because not every horse is going to come out and buck like these do. They are actually taken care of, and that they look very angry when somebody is on their back, and that is a type of horse that she holds on to. And that I can tell, I've been out to her ranch before. Beautiful place, beautiful place. Next exit in the house. Glad to have you here. Dave ditched the live sunglasses, but upgraded to the cowboy hat. Way to rock it. Yeah, I'm gonna get to use it officially. Guys, I got to use it officially the other day, working around here around the ranch, and one of the things we do here is we volunteer when there's something that needs to be done. In this case, they said we have 24 new trees that they are doing on the other side of the lake over there, that they have planted. And the president of the the president of the board asked me if I would water those. Sure, that's fine. Then she said, bring a chair and a book. I'm thinking, 24 trees. Why would I need to bring a book or a chair? I will just water the trees, and we will, all of the trees, what I found when I got over there, all of the trees had been planted, and I'm sure that the intention was good, but the tree wells they were all planted on a hill that surrounds the lake that you see me back behind here. And all the tree wells were built on a slant. So when you put a hose into the top of it, the water runs in one side and runs quickly out the other side. And suddenly I realized some people just saw a picture of it on TV or in a magazine. I don't know. But I spent the rest of the day rebuilding the tree wells around the trees so they could all be watered. The trees, I believe, are going to be healthy. They're going to be okay. But I'm worried, because I'm not sure if the people that built the tree wells around the tree need to go back to gravity class. I don't know. 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 Anyway, so after that was Monday. That was the day after the live. After that, started up with the solar on top. I couldn't finish the drawers. I had to wait. And I started on the solar project, guys. And I have not filmed a lot of it because, there's times when you're a YouTuber that you're afraid to put something out for fear of the criticism or fear that you're doing something wrong. And I suppose that's not the right way to look at it. I'm not a professional at solar, but I've seen one on TV before. So I've done pretty good studying, and I think I have done a pretty good job, but I did not feel confident enough to film that so that I can show you. But I have added on 1,000 watts of solar up to the top of the RV, finished it yesterday and have been enjoying having full batteries all the time. Even though I could plug in here at the park, I don't need to. But I see somebody in the green room that probably I needed to talk to. I've been trying to figure out when I could call him, and I'm glad to see him here. So we're probably going to talk about that and a whole lot more. But let's see who we've got. We've got Next Exit is in the house. Glad to have you here. That's Mr. Bob. I talked to him over the week. What a wealth of information. Thank you, Bob. I appreciate it. I can't say enough. Boardman, aka Kenneth Oakes, is in the house. Glad to have you here. RV Living Life. Gary says 1,000 watts more. Great job. It is 1,000 watts that I added as a second system. I had 580 watts up there before, but I do not have 1,580 watts now. And I'll tell you why that, because we're going to talk about that a little bit later. And we'll see. Yeah, Ralph Havenberg. Okay. Anyway, we're going to talk. Let's bring up Don. It is open mic night. Let me put the link out right now. There we go. If you want to join us tonight, all you need is a laptop with a mic and a camera and a fairly decent internet signal, which I know our next person is going to have here. And I'm going to go ahead and bring him on. Cowboy Don, are you ready? Are you good to go? We give me a thumbs up if you. Oh, he says, "Oh, yeah, there we go." Let's throw it there. How you doing?
I'm great. How you doing?
Good. Now I have been meaning to call you all week, and I there is a lot of technical stuff involved in a solar system. I know that you paid to have yours put on, but you know everything that went into it to have that done. And that's another thing that I know I learned from Bob. I'm thinking about going to lithium, and I know you have that. I'm gathering all the information that I can so that I don't mess this up.
Yeah, well, just because you pay someone to have it installed, even though I've done lots of research in the past, doesn't make me an expert by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, I did learn something Friday about my batteries. I wasn't really paying much attention to, but when you come someplace that's 105 degrees and they can't get the guy out of your site for 3 hours and you're running your AC off of your batteries, they have a tendency to overheat. So
Oh, really?
I was running my AC for a couple hours on my batteries, and then they got up to 137 degrees and they stopped charging at 131.
Wow. Okay.
So,
And that is something that I'm learning about lithium. I'm learning about the lithium batteries that they have a built-in so they don't get too hot and they don't get too cold.
Right. But when you're sucking them out using the AC, I only was using one of my units, but still, it really heats it up when it's hot outside. So I opened the bay, I put a fan on them. It brought them down some, but I just shut off the AC for a while.
Yeah.
And I was pulling in a lot of solar. So
the fact that you can
one AC unit in all. What's that now?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Well,
one AC unit with all the other electronics going on. I'm sorry, Dave. There's a delay, isn't there?
There must be a delay of a few seconds. Sorry about that. The fact that you can run your AC is phenomenal. You really did get a good system. And no matter whether you pay for it or not, you hopefully are getting something that is going to last you and is going to work. So how long can you, I mean, to me, running AC just I know there are videos out there, but how long can you run AC?
I'm guesstimating, based on experience here, that I can probably run it up to 2 hours a day, every day. If I run it 3 or 4 hours one day, the next day I'm not going to be able to run
Okay. All right. Now,
it. So it,
you did or you didn't have an inverter on your system, or is that something that was added with your solar? Because um, I know you spent a lot of money to get that installed, but I don't think you had an inverter, did you?
no, I didn't. They tied it all in to where you bring in the power from pedestal. Keep in mind, I do have a 50 amp inverter. Uh, it's only 3,000 watts, but what most people don't realize is 50 amp at a pedestal plug-in is not even the same as a 50 amp generator. What people don't realize, you really have 50 amps on a pedestal on leg one and also 50 amps on leg two. So you really have available to you when you're plugged in 1200 watts. Whereas your generator, even if you've got a 50 amp generator like I do, mine's a 5K, 5,000 watts. Most generators are not 12,000 watts. So if you don't have a 12,000 watt generator, you're not the same as plugged into a pedestal.
Okay. Okay. WCRV Adventures asks, how many ACs
And
can you run? I think you said just one.
I only will run one. I don't think, matter of fact, it would click it off if I tried to draw two, because I can't draw more than 3,000 watts in the AC with all the other electronics running normally in my rig. I'm usually running about 22 and a half, 2,250 watts,
That's a pretty
anywhere
good
from
amount.
18 to 2,000.
Yeah, I have 2,000 watts
Yeah,
with my Magnum, and that's all I have to work with. So I have to be kind of careful cooking, and I do usually cook with electricity rather than the propane. And that
yeah.
was before. We'll see now how the countertop changes things, but I do tend to go towards electricity and go towards the batteries for running my cooking and making that happen. So it'll be interesting to see how this kind of changes. I do know that it's going to be a game changer because having four instead of just one burner. Now, I think you said last week you were saying you have that in your countertop, you don't use it. What do you use for cooking, Don?
Yeah, well, microwave mainly.
Okay, okay. Uh,
Yeah,
now,
microwave.
Cosmic
But
Mermaid and
if you
Starman
have a
ask,
2,000, okay,
go
sorry.
ahead. No, that's okay. We've got just a little bit of a
If
delay.
you have a 2,000, if you have a 2,000 watt inverter, you're not going to be running your AC, I don't think. But yes, I have soft starts on both my ACs.
Okay. Okay. Yep. That was the next question, was how if you had the soft starts on there. That is something that I haven't even considered. There's been so much with the process behind switching over to lithium. I don't think people realize that you can't just switch over to lithium. You can't just say, I'm going to install lithium. There's a lot of changes that need to be made to make that happen, and I'm learning all of them slowly but surely before I make that happen. But The good news is that the price of lithium has come down, and you can get good lithium batteries for about the price of a good AGM battery, and the lithium is going to have a lot more power. So that is why I'm looking at switching over to lithium. And you know me, I have been kind of against it for a long time.
Yeah. Well, I think my 6 lithium batteries weigh somewhere around 150 pounds. So, which is, I don't know, 23 or yeah, I want to say that it was 23 pounds a piece. They're 1,300 watts, 1,360, I think it is. They're line UT 1300s.
Yeah, those are good batteries.
And I think I got a good price. Yeah, I think I got a good price for them. I want to say I got them for $5.99 when I, even though I overpaid on the labor, I did get a good price on the batteries.
Yeah, you absolutely did. When I look at everything that I am faced with just adding 1,000 watts on, which is on a separate system, so I've got now 2 solar systems up top, and I've got one that is brand new that is a 1,000-watt system, and then a separate unit that is another right now it is another 400 watts. I had to change that. I had 580. I had to take 180 watts, 2 panels off of the top of the roof, because I found that when I was setting all this up, I didn't know that if you have different voltages of panels, they can actually take away from all your other panels. And I'm learning this slowly but surely. But the easiest way to say this is if you have 20-volt panels and then you add in 2 12-volt panels, it's going to drag those 4 20-volt panels down to 12, and you're going to lose essentially all of the benefit of those other panels. I was losing a lot. To give you an example, my 580 watts that I had up there, actually, with 300 watts of power, I have more amps going into my batteries than I had with my 580. So I'm learning. I had the original system and I just thought, oh, I had add on a couple hundred more watts. That'll be good. And sure enough, it goes up a little bit, but then I add on another couple hundred more watts. What I didn't realize is that those 12-volt panels were derating the 20-volt panels down to 12 volts, and I was losing a lot of power.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so much goes into it. Just your wiring alone can affect how your system works. I think they put in 44 foot of 4 gauge in my or maybe it was 80 something feet of 4 gauge. I don't remember, but it was said that they told me it was the most they've ever put in any system, because I wanted to bring down as much as I could as possible to the system, to the inverter, or the solar charger.
Yeah, absolutely. And then that is my goal. My goal is to put as much power into those batteries, and I do have success. And I'll tell you what, yeah, wiring everything is critical in setting these up. This is no little task, adding on a good solar system onto charge your batteries. So I have learned, and over the years now I am able to go up there and add in a system that I feel very confident in. I'm sure later on down the road, I'm sure I've done something wrong. We will see. Don, we have somebody else in the house that is waiting. Would you mind if I brought in Mr. Gary?
No, you can just do them if you'd like. I mean, I can be a spectator.
That's all right. I'll bring in Mr. Gary. Are you ready? I see you in there. I don't. There we go. I got a thumbs up. All right. Let's add him in there. Mr. Gary, how you doing?
Doing great. You?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I've been working my butt off for the last few weeks. It seems like every time I get back to Oregon, it's nothing but projects, and
Right.
and that has played true again yet this year.
Right. You were talking about your panels being different voltage. Are you running them in series or in parallel?
I was running them in parallel, and
Do that.
yeah.
But if you run them in series, you can hook different voltages together.
You can if you have even amounts. And my problem is I had two that were one voltage, two that another voltage, and two that were another voltage. So I suppose if I put 3 and 3 together, I could make all of those even, but the idea of doing that seemed a little daunting, and I thought, let's just get rid of those smaller panels and get those out of there completely.
Right. Well, I did mine, right, and it was a lot of work. And you have to redo everything if you're going to do it the way I did it. Like the power came in at the transfer switch, right? And then from the transfer switch, the generator or the shore power is coming in. And from there, it used to go up to my panel. And then at my panel, one cable, a 20 amp cable, would run down to my inverter and then back up to the second panel. And that's how mine was originally wired. And I changed that so that when it comes in at the transfer switch now, it goes to my 2 Victron inverters I have in the basement. So I have 6,000 watts there. And
holy cow.
But I think you might have watched my video. I'm not sure, but I don't know. Take a look at it. It's why so much stuff. But with the 2 inverters, I'm running split phase back up to the panels, and the panels are wired on split phase. But so I can use 6,000 watts off the batteries, but conditioner while he was driving. What we do is we run one air conditioner while we're driving, and we used to run the generator at the same time. But now, with 850 watts of solar on the roof, we don't have to run the generator anymore to run the solar, to run the AC, right? One AC, because a coach like this, the front dash doesn't keep it cool at all, right? You got to have one AC going for sure. And it works well. And now we can go, if there's a little bit of sun, we can go 2-3 hours, right? If it's a full sun day, we can drive 4, 5, 6 hours, and the AC will keep going. And the panels on the roof, we'll get another 800 up there. We'll be able to just run it right off the AC while we're driving.
Perfect.
The AC right off the solar. So, yeah, pretty much got it all figured out. Today I changed my kitchen over to the same line as my front air conditioner because I found there was too much stuff on line 1. So I switched some stuff over for that. And I balanced it out better than the way they did it,
Yeah, absolutely. And you discover that in manufacturing, they do the best setup they can for the given, what they're doing, what they're building. But later on down the road, we kind of discover how we use it and where we use it, and changing that over does become kind of critical to setting it up for ourselves. So how many you're working with lithium batteries, I believe, and how many are you working? Because Don was saying he's using 6. That's, I'm assuming, about 600 amp hour. And what are you using?
I have 800 amps of Renogy, and they work great. We got them at a really good price. It was so cheap, it was unbelievable. That's a long story, but we got them there's so many discounts on them. Plus, there's no shipping cost. There's no tax. It's I'll tell the story. It's Renegade batteries. When they're selling them in the States, let's say they sell them for $400 each. In Canada, they also sell them for $400 each, even though there's a 30% exchange. So we bought them in Canada and saved a ton right there. And then they were on sale for 20% off. And then I got a coupon from Will Prowse that was worth 15% on top of that. So, they're probably almost giving them to us. It was unbelievable how cheap they were. So that's the route we went, and we love them. And they work great. And 800 amps a lot. I used to, I don't know if I told you before, but I used to run an e-bike business. I sold it. That's what I retired from, right? And I was into LifePo 4 batteries like 10 years, like in 2009. And I knew they were the best batteries for e-bikes, but everybody still liked the lithium ion battery technology.
Uh-oh. I think I've cut out. I think we might have lost Gary.
Am I losing you?
Yeah, losing you a little bit, Gary. Well, I can hear you, but I can't. Your screen is frozen.
Can you hear me now?
We might have lost Gary. Don, let me ask you, because I did talk to Bob over at Next Exit, and Gary, I'm going to ask you the same question. You've had enough experience, Don, with your system, and now you're running about 600 amp hours, if I'm correct. I don't know exactly how many watts of solar that you've got up top, and your inverter. So if you could fill us in on that. And then my next question will be, is that enough? I mean, now that you've had it for a while, you're running around. You're obviously a boondocker. You do spend some time in the parks, but you're not afraid to get out in the middle of nowhere. Is it enough?
I don't know if you could ever have enough, but I have 1,200 watts of solar. Now, the 3,000 watt inverter I have, that's all it can handle. So if you're going to do more than that, you'd have to put in like 2 of those inverters. But I have 630 amp hours of batteries. And by the way, I can run boondock, and I can run my AC 4 hours a day if I had to. I could run it off the solar during, while it's generating solar for a couple hours. And then if I don't mind running my generator for an hour, I can recharge my batteries and run the AC while I've got that going. And then after I turn off the generator, I can run my AC for another hour or so. So there is a way of running the generator 1 hour. I can run my AC at least 4 hours.
Okay.
So that is just a little trick I've learned.
Yeah. Gary, I would ask you the same question. What have you got as far as battery power? You just said that you have 6,000. You have 2 inverters that are kicking out 6,000 watts. And I think you said 850 watts of solar up on the roof. Now you also boondock, but I don't think you boondock as much. Is that enough for what you do, boondock?
It's never enough, Dave. Really. When you were saying you had 580 watts, I was going, what's he talking about? He's still running his air conditioner 2 hours a day, like, what do you. But anyway, for us, for travel days, we don't have to run our generator. That's great. We can go to a harvest host, no problem. 1 night, 2 nights, it's no problem. As long as we're not running the AC, we can go a week, But in this kind of heat, there's no reality.
Oh, yeah.
It's hot as hell up here right now.
Yeah. Which I don't even understand that, because you're up in Canada, and I don't even understand. We finally are starting to get 94-degree weather.
Well, I was sitting here in my shorts and t-shirt, which I always wear, outside barbecuing 2 months ago, and we're seeing Tom and Lori in hailstorms.
Yeah.
Yep.
Solar flares are going off right now. If you see NASA pictures from the sun, they're shooting out big rays our way. So the whole planet, I mean, is having a problem with heat.
Dave, did I ever tell you why we went with so many batteries?
No, fill me in.
We didn't actually. I may be losing you again.
There you are. You're back.
Okay, so I'm on Starlink here and I'm in the forest. And every 44 seconds, I disconnect from Starlink for about 1 second because I'm in the trees.
Yeah.
And Starlink's unbelievable. It tells you that, right? It says you have a partially obstructed sky. You expect an interruption once every 44 seconds. It's amazing. But anyway, we got these batteries because we wanted to run in a 30 amp park because a lot of thousand trails are 30 amp, as you know. And we want to be able to run our coach in a 30 amp park easily. So we can go into a 30 amp park just like it's 50 amps. We can run 2 air conditioners, a microwave, all that stuff on 30 amps. And if we're using more power than we are getting from the pole, it just takes it from the batteries. And then as your high use items stop running, it goes back to charging the batteries. So we can run 1 AC all day in a 30 amp park. And we can use the microwave, the toaster, coffee pot, all that at the same time. Or 2 ACs and be a little careful, we can run 2 ACs on the washer and dryer. It'll take from the batteries for a little while. And then when the washer and dryer is done, it just charges back up.
Yeah, that is a new, that I don't know how new that is, but I've heard that your inverter, no matter what you plug into, your inverter will kick in if you're using more power than that. So if you have a 30 amp power and your inverter, mine is only capable of kicking out a 20 amp service, that will bring me up to 50 amps. So it's basically your system is saying they need more power, and the inverter is giving more power in the form of using your batteries to do it. So yeah, I totally get that. And yeah, that is exactly how you can connect to a 30 amp and live like you have 50 amp. And I don't know about yours. Mine, it does have a meter. I do go up to about 60 amps. And 30 amp parks do not bother me at all. They really do not bother me at all.
Ours is adjustable. We have the Victron stuff. So when we go to a 30 amp park, we just set it at 30 amps. And when we're in a 50 amp spot, we set it at 50. But in a 30 amp spot, I've set it as high as 60 and never had a problem because it still does a lot of self balancing anyway. But so it really works well. But if you ever do blow the breaker, you can go turn it down so you don't blow it again. It'll just take more from the batteries sooner. It's actually a great system.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Don, does your system do the same thing? Will it share from your inverter to supplement your 30 amp power?
Well, first of all, it's a 50 amp inverter, but it's only 3,000 watts. In a 30 amp system, a 30 amp system is 3,600 watts. I think Gary's does that because he has 2 3,000 watt inverters. Mine does not. I have not found that to be true.
Yours does
like
do
I was
power
saying,
assist?
there's a big difference between. No, I don't think it does.
It does, Don. It's just
I
not
think
set
it
right.
will do.
Not aware of how to use it.
Maybe. I'm not sure. I just know that a 30 amp system would have 3,600 watts available to it. My inverter only does 3,000.
Right.
So I don't know how it could be a big assist.
The only way it would work for you is if you're plugged into someone's into 15 or 20 amp plug.
Matthew Renaud says
whatever I'm plugged into, whatever I plug into, that's what I'm limited to. I've found. So if I plug into 110, I got 15 or 20 amps max. Plugging in.
I'm going to make you a video, Don. I'm going to make you a video.
Well, here's why. Here's why. Because if I plug in 110, if my batteries need charging, it sucks it all into the batteries and it overloads the 110.
Right.
Does
But
that
that
make
110
sense?
is on that 110 is on a 15 amp circuit. So you go into your inverter. Do you have a Servo GX, or you do it on your phone? I don't know if I
I
can even
do it
do
on my
this.
phone.
Do you have this gadget here on the wall here? I don't know if you can see it that well. Servo
I
GX?
don't.
No, eh? Okay, well, you can do it on your phone. But anyway,
Nope.
you can go into that and you can set, I'll have to look it up. I can't tell you right now, but you can set how many amps you'll take from the pole. So if you plug
Okay.
into 110 and you tell it to only take 15 amps, you won't blow that breaker. You'll start taking power from your batteries instead of blowing that breaker.
Okay, so if I go in and tell it to only do maximum 15 amps into my batteries when I'm plugged into that,
Right.
do I have to adjust it each time?
When you
Okay.
change places, let's say
Sure.
unfortunately you do. So I always change it from 30 to 50, depending where I am, right? I just go into it and I change it. It's not that hard to do, right? And then
Okay.
I also
Okay.
changed from split phase to parallel, but that's another whole ballpark. We don't want to get into that. But
Let me ask you guys now.
I
You
think
guys are
he's
discussing
frozen
this now.
again.
I don't know when it was added onto my coach because I did buy my coach used, but one of the things that I also have on there is an energy management system, and I couldn't tell you who the manufacturer is of that, or even if that was put out when the coach was built. I really don't know that much about it. But what it will do is it will judge your power and it will shut off circuits to things that are not being used. And if you use too many things, like sometimes I will have the dryer running and I want to use the microwave, it will sense that I want to use the microwave. It will shut down the dryer and let me run the microwave. As soon as I'm done with the microwave, it will return the power over to the dryer and continue running the dryer. Do you guys have any of that? And Gary, I notice your mic is showing off. Just a heads up.
I do know this when I'm hooked to a 30 amp. I can't run if I run both ACs. I need to make sure my hot water heater is on propane. Okay.
Gotcha.
Now, I don't know what he's pointing at, but
I think he's
yeah. So
it says, Gary, it says that your mic isn't connected. I can't, I don't have you muted. I promise. So I did not mute Gary, but I don't, it says that on my end, it says that your mic isn't connected. I'm not sure what that is.
yeah, I don't think he can hear you either.
He might not be able to. I don't know. It does show the little icon says that his mic is off, and that's not on my end. I don't know. Don, now I really wanted to ask this question of Gary because Gary's. We're just gonna watch you, Gary. Maybe I don't know if you want to try to restart or what. If you want to restart and join back in, I'll put another link in there. He's drinking. That's scary. That's scary. Anyway, Don, I was going to ask you one of the things I learned. I was talking to Bob over at Next Exit. We had a long conversation. One of the things I learned is lithium batteries can actually be destroyed by cold weather, by freezing weather. Now, do you have any protections against that, or are you just kind of planning on not being in cold weather, or how are you working that?
Well, my protection from that is my house has wheels on it, so I stay away from freezing weather. I do know it won't take a charge if it gets down to 4 degrees. I don't plan on going below 4 degrees. So I think the coldest I've ever been in is 23 degrees.
Yeah, I was trying to think of that myself, and I threw out another link there for Gary to see if he can rejoin, if he wants to, because I'd kind of like to know. Now he's up in Canada, and obviously a huge investment in eight. There he is. There's Mr. Gary. We'll go ahead there, and now it looks like he's good. But obviously a huge investment in eight lithium batteries. So that cold has to be a consideration, and I'm curious how he does it.
Say what? Hello?
Can you hear us, Gary?
Yeah, I can.
Hey,
Can you hear me?
My question is that there I learned talking with Bob over at Next Exit, one of the things that will destroy a lithium battery is charging it while it's cold, and you can't charge those below 32 degrees. And some batteries do come heated, but they warn everybody. They say don't let these get too cold. Some of them do have cold protection built into them. But Will Prowse, if you've watched his channel, if you've watched him take these batteries apart, which is fascinating, a lot of these little thermal sensors do not work, and that would lead to a destroyed battery. So Gary, I know you have 8 lithium batteries out there. What do you have for a safeguard? You're up in Canada now.
Yeah, well, right now I got to worry about them melting, but I actually Don was talking about his cabinet's getting hot. Yeah, you got to leave a fan going in it if that's a problem. But for any quality battery will stop it from being charged when it's cold. So if it's below 32 degrees, the batteries will not charge. But these batteries are in a heated bay, and they're also in the same bay as 2 inverters and a solar charger and a lot of stuff. So it's always warm in there. Even if it's 20 below outside, that cabinet is hot.
Okay. What do you want to give a shout out for who your battery manufacturer is?
Mine, Renogy.
Renogy. Okay. Don, how
Yeah,
about you? What have you got for batteries in there?
Lion
I have a live
UT 1300s.
Line. Those are good
They're
batteries.
105
Absolutely.
amps each, I believe it is.
Okay. And I would say Google them for their respective websites and to find those at. You were getting ready to wrap this up. What any advice to me? I'm new to the whole lithium thing. Going over to that and switching over from my trusted 6-volt golf cart batteries to lithium. What advice can you offer me?
My best advice for you, Dave, would be to call
I'm
me.
not the person that.
But if you plan to rewire your rig like I did, because your rig is probably wired the same way mine was before, I'd like to actually talk to you about that to make sure you do that right. Because you want to bring your power into your inverters before it goes to your panels if you're going to go that way. Like the original wiring comes right from the transfer switch, goes right to the panel. You don't want that.
Good advice. Good advice. Don, what did you have?
What do you mean?
What any
What
advice?
do I
I
have?
mean,
Mine comes in. Mine. Oh, I'll be honest with you, Dave. I'm not the one. I didn't wire it up. I do know that they did not put in any cutoff switches in mine. That concerned me and still does, but they told me they don't do that. So I guess I shouldn't
Okay.
be too concerned, but I have the only way I can disconnect power is disconnect one of the leads off with battery.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot to
And turn
consider,
them
a
off
lot
the
of
inverter.
modules. I'm looking at all of those, and it is a little overwhelming, I will say. So, and like HC Carefree Highway says, this is what I understand about this subject. It's all just magic.
I think I should go. I'm just keep dropping. So have a great show. There's probably 2 minutes left anyway.
Yeah, Gary, thanks for coming along. Do you have anything coming out that we can look forward to as far as videos or?
I just put one out today. I was walking Lexi and she just wanted to go in the lake so bad. I brought her over there and I unclipped her and she took that leap of freedom and just charged right out into the lake. She had such a good time, but I'm working on all kinds of stuff, you know. I,
Outstanding.
there's a lot of content here, right? But I'm having such a good time. I'm in another paradise here right now. This one's called Arrowhead Provincial Park. It's huge. I'm in a 50 amp spot here. My site is probably, I don't know, 70 feet wide by 200 feet long. And it comes in at a curve. And halfway around the curve, there's a hole cut out into the bush where my campsite is. There's a picnic table, fireplace, everything. It's just unbelievably beautiful here. Um, Big Bend is just about 8 campsites away from me. And that's like Big Bend that you have down in the States there. Well, it's the same thing here, except it's through the forest. It's just beautiful. I'm 15 minutes from a beach where you can swim, 2 minutes from the dog beach. Great,
Awesome.
great place. It is nice.
Gary, thank you for being with us tonight. I really appreciate it. It's always good seeing you on and look forward to, well, I'm sure we're going to see what you've been up to next month. You guys take care. Tell Miss Carol that we miss seeing her, and next week hopefully we'll see her right alongside of you.
Bye, guys. Take care, everyone.
All right, take care.
Good.
Gotta move your truck.
Hold on one second, guys.
Okay.
My apologies, guys. Somebody came by. Just thought I'd touch bases with you. Don, how about you? Now you're off. I think last I saw you were in Yosemite.
Well, I've done so much since then. I've done San Francisco, Golden Gate Bridge. I've done Monterey. I've done the 17-mile ride, drive, the famous ride down through Pebble Beach, which they don't allow motorcycles. The guy looked the other way and let me do it. So that's coming out. Of course, I did Yosemite and I did a bunch of wharfs, famous wharfs down there in Santa Cruz and also Monterey. I just yesterday, 10-hour day filming Sequoia National Park and Kings Canyon National Park. And I went up to 7,000 feet on my road bike. When I was coming down, I got to 6,000 feet. I was riding, no one from me, so I was riding hot and heavy, braking a lot. I lost my rear brake, so I had to ride from 6,000 feet to about 2,500 feet. elevation without a rear brake. But I made it just fine. I got to film some amazing Sycamore trees, General Sherman and also General Grant, and they're an hour apart. Okay, so I did 100 miles inside the park.
Outstanding.
So that will be coming out in the future. But right now I'm putting out Yellowstone stuff because it's so hot and heavy with it. That US 89 on the north end by Gardner, Montana, probably won't be open for 3 or 4 years because it all got washed away in flood. So I don't know how that park. It's going to be tough for that park to function. That was a major entrance into that park.
Wow.
So
wow.
Yes. So that's what I'm working on now. Yep.
Awesome. Well, Don, thanks so much for coming on. As always, it's great to see you, and look forward to possibly seeing you next month and seeing where you're at and what you're doing. Your Cowboy Biker Adventures on YouTube and Instagram, and thank you so much for being here.
I'm heading your way, by the way, Dave. I'm leaving out tomorrow, starting to head north to the Redwoods National Park, and then up to Oregon. So I'll be there. I'll be just outside of Oregon by the 15th of July. So
Outstanding.
anyhow, oh, by the way, I want your cooktop. I got to get that.
I just put it
me.
in. You
That
can't
is me.
have it, Don.
Well, okay, you're going to have to help me build. I'm not interested in the drawers. I'm just interested in the top.
Yeah, absolutely. I could help you with that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being there. We will see you next month. And I'll give you a call. I will call. Absolutely.
You do that.
All right. Take care,
Yeah,
Don.
I'm going to have next 4 days of travel days. We'll see everybody. Be safe.
Right. Thanks, Don. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for coming and joining along. A lot of great questions. I'm going to let's see what we've got here. You know what? We're going to give HC Carefree the last word of the night. Night all. Have a great week. Safe travels and stay cool. Yeah. First days of summer are here. 94 degrees here, so it's feeling pretty good. I am so glad that you guys could be here. We're going to wrap this one up. We're a little bit over time, but aka Ford Man, thank you for being here. Matthew Renaud, Cosmic Mermaid and Starman, so many others. Next Exit, Crafty Traveler, HE Carefree Highway, just to name a few. And of course, RV Living Life. That was Gary and Don, Cowboy Biker Adventures. Glad to have you guys on. Take care, everybody. We will see you next week. I'm not exactly sure where, but I'll be here. Guys, take care. Be safe. Stay cool. Bye. All right. Let's see if we can wrap this one up.